I pulled the trigger on my boss's kneecap at point-blank range. The .38 spitting fire like a cornered devil in that fluorescent-lit boardroom, and watched his screams echo off the glass walls of Aerotech's executive suite. It was a murder, not yet, but it was the kind of punctuation that made the HR drones scatter like roaches under a boot, their clipboards clattering to the Berber carpet stained with his blood. And as the sirens wailed closer from the rainy Seattle streets below, I whispered to him, "You stole my code, my life, my kid's future. Now watch me steal your stars." That shot? It was 40 minutes after they handed me the pink slip. The one with my name misspelled because even in Betrayal, they couldn't get the details right. But let's back up. Because revenge isn't just a bang, it's the slow bleed that starts in the gut and ends in the void of space. I was Jack Harlan, lead systems architect at Aerotech Dynamics, the Silicon Valley wet dream transplanted to the Pacific Northwest. Think Amazon's shadow, but with more orbital ambition. We'd been building Orion 7, a low-Earth satellite constellation meant to beam high-speed internet to every forgotten trailer park from Alaska to the Keys. Billions in venture capital, NASA handshakes, and enough NDAs to choke a lawyer. I was the guy who wrote the neural net that kept those birds from colliding with space junk or each other. A black box algorithm I'd coded in my garage during chemo rounds for my wife, Sarah, back when pancreatic cancer was rewriting our vows into last rites. Sarah died 3 years ago, leaving me with our 8-year-old, Ellie, and a mountain of medical debt that made bankruptcy sound like a vacation. Aerotech was my lifeline, stock options that could have paid off the house, covered Ellie's braces, maybe even a college fund that didn't involve lottery tickets. I poured everything into Orion. Nights blurred into dawns in that sterile lab, Red Bull for drips and takeout wrappers as my sacraments. My code wasn't just lines, it was armor against the emptiness Sarah left. Then came Victor Kane, the golden boy VP they parachuted in from East Coast hedge funds. Slick as oiled eel, with a Harvard MBA and a smile that could sell ice to Inuits. He wasn't an engineer, he was a shark in khakis, sniffing for weaknesses to leverage into promotions. From day one, he shadowed me, learning the ropes while dropping hints about synergies and streamlining. I should have seen the knife, but grief makes you blind, and desperation makes you trust. It started small. Victor borrowed snippets of my neural net for his pitch deck to the board, framed as team innovation. Of course. I let it slide. Collaboration? Right? American dream bullshit. Then he pushed for overrides. Little backdoors in the satellite's command protocols for redundancy. I argued. Those were single points of failure. Russian roulette with $1 billion bird, but he waved SEC filings in my face, promising it'd lock in funding. "Trust the vision, Jack," he'd say, clapping my shoulder like we were brothers. Ellie was sick again that winter, some flu that turned into pneumonia, and the hospital bills hit like a freight train. I caved. I hard-coded his overrides, buried them deep in the off layers. It was my mistake. My crime, covering for a thief because my daughter's fever wouldn't break. By spring, Orion 7 launched flawless from Vandenberg, a streak of fire against the California dawn that had Elon types tweeting envy. The stock popped 40%. Champagne flowed in the war room, and Victor got the corner office, the key to the executive washroom. My key. He presented the neural net as his brainchild at the all-hands, my name buried in fine print like a footnote in hell. I confronted him in the parking garage, rain sheeting off my hood like tears I couldn't afford to shed. "You gutted me, Vic. That's my soul up there." He laughed. That polished bark. Soul, this is business. Harlan, you want credit?
Sue me.
Oh wait, you can't. That override code? It's got your digital fingerprints all over it. One whistle to the feds. And you're the fall guy for any glitch. Orbital debris laws are a bitch. He slid into his Tesla, taillights mocking me into the downpour. I drove home to Ellie's school play, her tiny witch hat crooked, whispering Daddy's a hero like it could stitch my world back. But the betrayal festered. I dug, late nights in dark web forums, tracing Victor's trail. Turns out, the overrides weren't for redundancy, they were kill switches, wired to a Cayman shell company he controlled. One flip, and Orion 7 Ghosts, data streams hijacked, sold to the highest bidder, Chinese cartels, Russian oligarchs, whoever paid for eyes in the sky. My code. My cover-up. Enabling corporate treason. And the kicker? The mistake I bore? It was Sarah's insurance fraud, falsified claims to cover her experimental treatments. Victor found out during onboarding.
Used it as leverage.
One call to Blue Cross. And Ellie's Medicaid dries up. I confessed to him in a weak moment, thinking him a friend. Deep betrayal?
Try soul rape.
Fired at 10:20 a.m. on a Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. The email pinged during my coffee run. Immediate termination for cause. Violation of Protocol 7.2. Cause? The overrides glitching in Sims. Threatening a cascade failure. Victor's doing. Pinned on me. Security escorted me out. Box of desk junk and arms. Past cubicles buzzing with whispers. Harlan's toast, someone muttered. I clocked Victor in his glass fishbowl. On a call. Grinning like a wolf with a fresh kill. By 10:45, I was in my truck. Parked in a Starbucks, lot off I-5. Laptop hot on my thighs. Ellie at camp. Oblivious, thank God. I hadn't logged out fully. Old sysadmin habits die hard. Backdoor access. A ghost in the machine I'd left for emergencies. Victor's overrides? I knew every vein. By 11 o'clock, I was in the command core. Fingers flying like exorcism. Not destruction, precision. I rewrote the auth keys. Chained them to a dead man's switch on my rig. One ping for my heart monitor, yeah. I wear one post-Sarah. Or a wrong coffee spill. And the satellites go dark. But smarter, I vectored the swarm into a daisy chain rebellion. Orion 7's birds would realign, beaming not internet, but echoes my manifesto. Looped in binary haiku, Victor Kane stole the stars. Now they fall. Sirens? That came later. First, the boardroom showdown. I marched back in at 11:15, badge cloned from a dummy account. .38 tucked in my waistband, Sarah's dad's relic. Oiled for the first time in years. They were toasting the successful purge when I kicked the door. Victor's face drained milk-white. Harlan, what the? Show's over.
Vic.
Your birds are singing my tune. I projected from my phone. Live feeds of the constellation shifting. Lasers painting the sky with code ghosts over DC. Over Beijing. Panic rippled. The CEO, a silver fox named Hargrove, sputtered, "This is terrorism, terrorism." I laughed, bitter as black coffee.
You built it on theft.
My theft? Sure, I covered your golden boy's ass because he blackmailed me with my dead wife's sins.
But now?
The world's watching. I pulled the gun then not to kill, but to carve truth. The shot to the knee was mercy, a flesh wound to match the hole in me. Victor crumpled, howling, blood pooling like spilled Merlot. Hargrove lunged for the panic button. I winged his shoulder, a graze that spun him into the credenza. Stay down.
This isn't about you.
Yet. Cops breached at 11:42. Tack vests and shouts. But by then, the net was ablaze. X lit up. Or I'm betrayal trending. Hackers amplifying my manifesto's fragments. Aerotech's VP wired kill switches for foreign spies. Engineer fired. Fights back. Pundits on CNN split. Terrorist or whistleblower. Fox called me a patriot avenger. MSNBC. A grieving loose cannon. Ellie? I texted her camp counselor. Daddy's fixing a big mistake. Pick you up soon. They cuffed me in the lobby. Zip ties biting wrists slick with sweat. Victor stretchered past with eyes promising hell. But as the chopper thumped overhead, satellites winking like fireflies in my mind's eye, I knew the revenge was just Orbit 1. The real burn? Watching their empire unravel from a cell, one signal at a time. Jails smelled like bleach and broken dreams. The kind of King County holding cell where trust fund kids puked in the corner and lifers eyed you like fresh meat. They process me fast, mugshot flashbulb harsh. Fingerprints smudged with Victor's blood, then toss me into Gen Pop with a public defender who looked like he'd rather be golfing. Harlan, you shot 2 execs in broad daylight. Plea bargain's your best friend. Best friend? I hadn't had one since Sarah's funeral, where Victor sent flowers with a card, strength in the stars. Brother. Brother. The word curdled now, replayed in the dim buzz of fluorescent strips as I paced my 6x8. Outside, Seattle stewed in a heat wave unseasonal for June. The sound a hazy mirror reflecting my idiocy. Had I gone too far? The knee shot clean through the patella. Docs said he'd walk with a limp, a cane for board meetings like some Dickens villain. Hargrove's graze? Superficial. Ego bruised deeper than flesh. No deaths. But the charges stacked like cordwood. Assault with deadly. Corporate espionage ironic. Reckless endangerment of national assets. The feds were circling FBI, NSA because Orion 7 wasn't just Wi-Fi, it had DoD piggybacks. Eyes on adversaries. My one call? To Ellie's school. Not camp. Turns out the counselor's mom was a local news junkie. Blabbing before pickup. Daddy's on TV, she squealed when they patched her through. Voice tinny over the line. Are you a superhero? Heart like a vice. Something like that.
Kiddo.
Aunt Lena's got you tonight. Love you to the moon.
Click.
Lena. Sarah's sister. The stable one in Portland. Already texting Fury. What the hell? Jack. Guns? In a boardroom? I didn't reply. What words fix a man unraveling? Sleep evaded. Replaced by code dreams. Orion's swarm dancing in my skull. Algorithms twisting like vengeful ghosts. I'd left the dead man's switch primed, but not triggered. A leash, not a noose. By dawn, my lawyer shuffled in with coffee and headlines. You're viral. Harlan. Jack Harlan hero at 2 million posts. But the board's lawyering up, claiming you planted the kill switches yourself. Framed Kane to tank the stock. Framed? The gall. Victor's shell company. Star Vale Holdings. I'd screenshot ledgers before the hack. Timestamps irrefutable. But evidence in a burner drive. Stashed in my truck's glove box. Now impounded. Get it? I told the PD. Truck's registered. Inside. USB with everything. He nodded. Skeptical. But by noon, bail hearing loomed. The judge. A grizzled ex-prosecutor with a mariner's mug eyed me like yesterday's bad bet. Mr. Harlan, you've got the makings of a folk and a hero. But shooting me's isn't protest. Bail denied, flight risk. They said. Space cowboys don't fly commercial. Apparently. Solitary was mercy. A concrete cocoon where I piece the puzzle. Flashback to onboarding. Victor's welcome dinner at his Bellevue McMansion Lake views. Aged scotch. Stories of Wall Street conquests. I'd spilled then. Post-second pour. Sarah's fraud. How we'd padded claims for that off-label chemo. $200,000 vanished into black market vials. Desperate times, I'd slurred. He nodded sympathy.
Topped off my glass.
We've all got skeletons.
Jack.
Aerotech's family. We bury 'em together.
Lies. All.
Next week. The override's request. Just a failsafe. Your neural net's gold. Let's gold-plate it. I'd coded the back doors. Thinking protection. Idiot. Twist 1 hit via contraband news. Victor.
From his hospital bed.
Leaking to Reuters. Harlan snapped. Grief turned him radical. Those kill switches? His paranoia. Sabotaging his own work. Polls split. 52% saw me as betrayed dad. 48% as unhinged gun nut. Pundits feasted. Bill Maher monologued. Is Harlan the new Snowden, or just another QAnon cosplay? X threads dissected my manifesto. Kane's a traitor, but shooting first? That's Second Amendment fanfic gone wrong. Lena visited Sunday. Glass partitions smudged. Her eyes red-rimmed. Ellie's asking why Daddy's in timeout. Timeout. I pressed palm to glass.
Tell her.
The bad guys tried to take our stars.
I'm getting back.
She slid papers under, custody forms. Prepped by her lawyer. Jack. You're toxic now. For her sake. I crumpled them. Unseen. Not yet.
Sis.
Watch the skies. Monday. Breakthrough. P.D. Walston. Grinning like he'd won Powerball. Glovebox goldmine. Ledgers trace to Kane's offshore. Feds raiding Starvale as we speak. Victor flipped? No, deeper. Turns out. Hargrove knew. Emails unearthed. Board winks at alternative revenue streams.
The whole C-suite.
Pimping satellite eyes to bidders. My overrides? Their insurance policy. I'd borne the sin for a cabal. Bail hearing redux. Circus outside, protesters with signs. Free Jack, code not guns. Counter. Lock him up, space isn't Wild West. Judge relented. $500,000. Ankle monitor. Lena as custodian. I walked free at dusk. Ellie in her aunt's Prius. Waving tentative. Daddy smells like jail, she giggled. Hugging fierce. Home was a rental shoebox in Capitol Hill. Monitors beeping like accusatory crickets. That night. Victor called, burner to burner. Voice weedsy from painkillers. You think you're Robin Hood? You're a dead man walking. Harlan. Drop the switch. Or Ellie pays.
Click.
Threat real. Shadows on the street. Unmarked SUV idling. Controversy brewed. Was I protector or predator? I kissed Ellie's forehead. Whispered promises. Then fired up the rig. Phase 2, not destruction, but exposure. Code flowed. Satellites seeding data dumps to WikiLeaks mirrors. Unredacted. By midnight. Headline screamed, Aerotech SpySat scandal, execs sell U.S. tech to foes. Victor schemed back. Flip-flopping public. Morning presser. Victim of rogue employee. Afternoon leak. Harlan's unstable. Armed and dangerous. Cops at my door by 2 a.m. Wellness check. I complied. Smiling. But inside, the burn deepened. Revenge wasn't hot. It was the cold calculus of orbits colliding. Ellie dreamed of stars that night, murmuring constellations. I watched, gun under pillow, knowing the Real shot was yet to fire. Week 2 post-bail was a funhouse mirror of normalcy, dropping Ellie at school with a fake smile, dodging paparazzi in Carhartt hoodies, while the net crackled with my digital insurgency. Orion, 7 hummed rogue. Not crashing but whispering secrets, encrypted comms between Victor's shells and Beijing handlers. Hargrove's yacht parties with Saudi princes. I moderated the flow, drip, not flood, to keep the feds chasing ghosts. Not my door. Lena shuttled Ellie to Portland weekends. Her texts a barrage. Stay clean, Jack. For her.
Clean?
With Victor's goons tailing my grocery runs, clean was a luxury. Aerotech's stock cratered 60%. Board ousted Hargrove in a bloodless coup, press release spin, strategic realignment. Victor? On leave. Recovering from trauma, but whispers said he was lawyering a countersuit, painting me as the mastermind. Harlan orchestrated the betrayal to extort, his mouthpiece claimed on Bloomberg. Extort? I'd take the house. The stocks. Maybe his left nut, but not for cash. For Ellie's unscarred childhood. Twist nod. My complicity. Those back doors, I'd built them. Fingers on keys. Eyes on Ellie's crayon drawings taped to the fridge. Covering Victor meant covering the fraud. Sarah's ghost in every line. Had I betrayed her worse than he betrayed me?
Nights.
I'd pace the balcony. Sound bridge lights mocking. Debating deletion. But deletion was surrender. Stars don't dim easy. Enter Riley Voss. Freelance journo with a Substack that punched above its weight. Tech shadows. 500K subs dissecting big tech underbellies. She DM'd on Signal. Harlan. Off-record coffee? I smell Pulitzer. Skeptical, reporters were vultures in hipster flannel, but her clips checked out. Deep dives on Palantir privacy fucks. Accurate to the bite. We met at a Fremont dive. Pinball machines clanging cover. Her notebook tattooed with URLs. You're either a genius or a suicide, she said, stirring black coffee. Eyes sharp as switchblades. Kane's flipping the narrative says you shot him over a promotion grudge. Not treason. I slid her a thumb drive. Unredacted overrides. My confession audio from that Scotch night. Listen. Then decide.
She did.
In the booth. Face paling. Jesus. Jack. Blackmail with a dead wife's crime? That's vile.
Vile.
Word hung. Controversial hook. Was Victor monster or mirror? Reflecting my own moral skid? We allied uneasy. Riley's pieces dropped like bombs. Inside Aerotech, the satellite that sold America. X exploded. Kane killer trending over Harlan hero. Protests swelled. Techies in hoodies outside Aerotech's Bellevue campus. Chanting code for the coders. Counter. Suits with Justice for Kane placards. Claiming I was anti-progress terrorist. Pundits picked sides. Maddow hailed me as everyman avenger. Carlson. Government overreach. Harlan's a symptom. No one's hands clean. Readers debated comments. He shot a man, vigilante BS. Kane deserved worse. Capitalism's the real gun. Victor countered mother style. Scheming flip. Anonymous docs drops on 4chan. My Sarah fraud leaked twisted. Harlan's a con man. Faked cancer for payouts. Lies. But mud sticks. Ellie came home from school crying, kids calling her liar daddy's kid. I held her, rocking on the couch, promising ice cream and ignorance. They're wrong. Bug. Daddy fixes lies. But inside, rage supernova. I upped the ante, Orion seeding deepfakes now. Victor's voice confessing on viral clips. I'd sell the skies for a yacht. Deniability? Mine. Via proxies.
His crumbling.
Fed summoned. Sterile conference room in Federal Way. Suits with badges like Agent Ruiz. Cyber. Harlan. You're walking a wire. Shut the switch. Testify clean. Maybe we cut immunity. Immunity for what? My back doors. The shots. Sarah's ghost. Ruiz leaned in. Coffee breath. Kane singing, says you plan the whole op. Grief as cover. Singing? Victor. The flipper. Trading my head for his. I laughed. Test me. Polygraph the ledgers. They did, passed with flying colors. Victor's poly? Inconclusive, Leak said. Twist. He wasn't just flipping, he was fracturing. Hospital psych eval leaked, PTSD. Paranoia. Delusional vendetta. His own lawyers distancing. Whispering plea. Schadenfreude sour. Was I breaking him? Or had he always been porcelain under polish? Riley's next drop. Interview me. Masked. Voice modulated. Why the gun? She probed. Words failed. Code was next. Airs Friday Prime. Ratings gold. But pre-air. Hit. Black van outside my place. 2 goons in tactical. .45 S glinting. Victor's hirelings. Freelance muscle from his Wall Street days. They breached at 3 a.m. Boots thumping stairs. I was ready. Sarah's .38 under pillow. Orion app pinging warnings via hacked ring cams. First goon through door took a gut shot. Crumpling wet. Second lunged. I sidestepped. Cracked his skull with the butt. Ellie screamed from her room. Nightmare fuel. Daddy. Cops swarmed 10 minutes later. Seen a slaughterhouse of intent. Charges? Self-defense. Barely DA reviewing. Media frenzy. Harlan shoots again. Vigilante or victim? Sides cleaved deeper. Gun rights rallies hailed me. Anti-violence NGOs decried. Cycle of trauma. Victor called again. Voice cracked. You sent them?
No, wait.
Truce. Truce? From a man who'd orphaned my trust. Kneel.
Vic.
Or the stars judge. Click. His flip complete. Public mea culpa on LinkedIn. Missteps in leadership. Seeking healing. Liar. But the burn? It pulled Ellie closer. Her small hand in mine at the kitchen table. Drawing rockets. For Mommy Sky, she said. I nodded. Throat tight. Revenge's cost. Innocence collateral. As Orion's ghost circled zenith, I plotted Phase 3, not bullets, but boardroom coup. The cabal would fall. But at what moral gravity? Mid-July heat baked Seattle into a skillet, the kind where even Puget Sound steamed like bad karma. My ankle monitor chafed like a guilty conscience, beeping reminders that freedom was leased, not owned. Ellie summer camped in Portland full-time now, Lena's insistence. Until the circus folds. Jack. Folded? The tent was expanding. Aerotech rebranded to Nova Dynamics, shedding skin like a snake with indigestion. But Victor lurked in shadows. His leave, a phoenix incubation. Riley and I went underground, her apartment in Ballard. Walls papered with printouts. A war room reeking of instant ramen and resolve. Kane's regrouping, she said, pinning a org chart to corkboard. Red string webbing accomplices. New shell. Lunarlink. Pulling strings for a buyout. Buyout? Of what? My life. Turns out, he'd lawyered a civil suit. Defamation. Emotional distress. Corporate sabotage. Demands. $10 million. My silence. Orion's kill. Or Discovery drags Sarah's fraud into daylight. Ellie's future a tabloid stain. Controversy crested. Congressional hearings. Capitol Hill suits grilling Nova execs under Klieg lights. Did Aerotech compromise national security? Chairs banged gavels. Victor testified remote. Crutch propped. Oscar-worthy tears. I trusted Harlan. His instability cost us all. Lies layered like phyllo. My invite? Material witness, but fed stonewalled. Ongoing investigation. Stonewall? I was the goddamn Rosetta Stone. I countered codewise. Orion now a mirror maze. Reflecting queries back distorted. Hargrove's emails to Langley. Begging offloads. Victor's Venmo to a consultant named Yuri Petrov. Ex-KGB with a DC condo. Drops to Riley's drops. Anonymous. Timed for hearings. Boom. XVP Kane linked to Russian assets. Stocks dipped again. 20%. Short sellers feasting. X-wars intensified. MAGA bots lock her up. Kane's a deep stater. Libs. Harlan's hacks illegal. Due process. Gray zone widened. No heroes. Just hustlers in the hurt locker. Personal twists sliced deep. Ellie's drawings arrived via Lena. Rockets with sad faces. Labeled Daddy's angry stars. Angry? Try atomized. I drove south for supervised visit. Monitor pinging like a leash on a junkyard dog. Park in Vancouver. Wah. Swings creaking under overcast skies. She ran to me. Pigtails flying. Missed you. Hugs hurt more than goons' fists. We picnicked. PBA. Her favorite, talking unicorns. Not uncles in wheelchairs. But eyes betrayed. Aunt Lena says you're fixing bad stuff. Is it like mommy's sick? Sick. The word weaponized. Worse. Bug. But daddy's the doctor now. Lies to a child. Another sin. Stacking on Sarah's. Victor knew that fracture. His next move exploited it. Package at my door. Manila envelope. No return. Inside, photos Ellie at school. Playground candid. Lena's car tailed on I-5. Note in a script. Truce terms. Or she stars in the next leak. Blackmail 2.0. Flipping from corporate to cradle. Rage blacked vision. I didn't shoot shadows, I strung code. That night. Orion targeted. Geofenced bursts over Victor's Bellevue zip. Jamming his smart home. Lights strobe. Alarms wail. Fridge monologuing manifestos. Cops responded glitch, but he knew. Call came ragged. Harlan. You psycho, back off my family. Family? His trophy wife. Botox Barbie. Oblivious in yoga pants. You're what? Vic? The one you cheat on with interns? Ellie's off limits. He flipped again. Voice oily. Then deal. Meet neutral ground. End this. Neutral? The Space Needle. Tourist throng. Midnight when crowds thinned. I went armed. Monitor silenced via EMP trinket from a dark web pal. Summit at the apex. City sprawl glittering like fool's jewels. Victor waited. Kane tapping. Flanked by two shadows. Ex-cops. Bulges under jackets. Jack, he cooed. Grief's a bitch. Huh? Sarah, beautiful. Shame about the scams. Kane hit a blade? No, Mike. feeding to his recorder. Setup. Entrapment. My threats taped for court. I saw red. .38 itching. But twist. Riley's text buzzed. Abort. Feds en route. Cane tipped. Trap within trap. I bolted. Fire stairs clanging. Heart thunder. Outside. Chaos. Cop cars boxing the lot. K9 snarls. Harlan. Out with hands. Foot chase through Pike Place. Fishmongers scattering. Rain-slick cobbles. I ditched the gun in a dumpster. Sarah's legacy. Sacrificed. Leapt a stall. Blended into market crowd. Ankle monitor? Hacked silent pre-meet. Orion spoofing signal to a Bremerton ferry. Evaded. Panting in an alley. Burner alive, Riley. Got you on dashcam, Kane's play. But you're hot now.
Jack.
Fugitive. Fugitive. Word tasted like ash. Xlit. Harlan flees feds, guilty or framed. Sides polarized. Run. Rabbit, justice coming. He's protecting his kid. Leave him be. Victor's victory lap. Presser at dawn. Crutch dramatic. Attempted assault. Poor man needs help. Not hate. Flip masterful. From villain to victim. Schemer to sympathetic. I hold in a Fremont motel. Cash-only dump with roaches as roommates. Called Lena. Take Ellie dark, burner numbers. No traces. She whispered fear. Jack.
End it.
Please. End? With Victor's blade at her throat?
No.
Phase 4. Total War. Code Marathon. Orion daisy chaining to sister sats. Global net. Dumps escalated. Full ledgers. Voice memos. Even Hargrove's kink files for spice. WikiLeaks mirror. Novagate. Astro treason exposed. Fallout tsunami. SEC probes. Interpol warrants for Yuri. Victor's empire cracked. Assets frozen. Wife lawyering divorce. But cost? My face on every screen. Ellie relocated to a safe house in Bend. Her world shrunk to whispers. Controversy peaked. Op-eds debated. Is Harlan's revenge righteous or ruinous? Readers split. He made them pay, hero. Innocence hurt, monster. No absolutes. Just the grind of gray. As dawn bled over the sound, I stared at motel TV. Victor's mug pleading, mercy for the madman. Mercy? I'd show Starsworth. But in the mirror, who leered back, Avenger or the betrayed? Fugitive Life was a bad noir reboot, diner stools for thrones. Fake IDs from a Reno contact. Sleep in snatches haunted by Ellie's laugh. Seattle faded rearview. I ghosted east on I-90. Washington pines blurring into Idaho dust. Then Montana's big sky irony, endless orbits mocking my grounded cage. Riley fed intel via encrypted drops, Victor's crumbling, subpoenas piling. But he's pointing fingers up chain. Says you're the puppet. Some Chinese handler pulling strings. Puppet? I'd code the noose for that libel. Nova Dynamics hemorrhaged, layoffs hit 40%. Bellevue HQ a ghost town of packing tape and regret. Stock, penny trash. Vultures circling buyouts from SpaceX wannabes. Congressional circus raged, senators posturing for C-SPAN. How deep does the betrayal burrow? Victor's testimony flipped hourly morning. Harlan radicalized me. Afternoon. I was coerced. Board's fault. Schemer supreme. Dodging daggers by dancing. Leaks pinned a new player. Elena Hargrove. The ex-CEO's wife. Silent partner in Star Vale. Her, Charity, a front for laundered spy bucks. Twist. She'd recruited Victor. My friend, over martinis at a Davos afterparty. Deep betrayal layered, not just corporate, but a web woven in boardrooms and boudoirs. I squatted in a Billings trailer, off-grid with solar jury rig and Starlink irony, not Novas. Thank Christ. Ellie calls on burners. Daddy. Aunt Lena got a puppy. Named it Rocket. Laughter cracked my chest. Better than mine. Bug. Be good, stars watching.
Watched.
Orion did. From 300 miles up. My faithful hound. I tuned it daily, health checks, payload tweaks, keeping the swarm loyal. A digital packet heel. Controversy fermented national, town halls devolved to shouts. Harlan's a folk devil, blame the system, versus gun-toting hacker, lockdown America, late-night comics roasted, Colbert, Jack Harlan, part Snowden, part Rambo, all dad bod. SNL skit had me as a bumbling MacGyver. .38 duct tape to a laptop. Laughs hurt, they humanize the hunt. But feds tighten noose, Amber Alert vibes for my endangerment. Riley's coup, embedded with a Nova whistleblower. Mid-level coder named Tarek, who I'd mentored pre-Victor. Saw the overrides, he told her. Voice quaking on tape. Harlan warned us. Kane buried it. Drop hit like monsoon. Inside voice. Coder confirms coup. Victor retaliated filthy. PI dossier on Riley. Her ex's DUI splashed. Unstable source. She called furious. Bastards muzzling media. We need your face. Jack. Livestream the truth. Livestream? Suicide by pixels. But Ellie's face. One in last photo. Thumb-sucking relapse, pushed. I scouted. Abandoned silo outside Great Falls. Cold War relic with net via booster. Rigged cams. Orion uplink for unbreakable feed. Scripted raw. This is Jack Harlan. They stole my code. My peace. Threatened my blood. Victor Kane sold stars for slush funds. Here's proof. Judge me after. Attached dumps. Unedited. Timestamped. Aired 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. YouTube hijack. Mirrors spawning like Hydra. 10 million views in hour 1. Crashing servers. X supernova. Harlan Live fracturing feeds. Tears real. Guys broken. Trap. Deepfake tears. Feds scrambled. Tracing to silo. I bailed pre-breach.
Truck torched as decoy.
Safe house next. Casper. WI. Courtesy Riley's network. Victor flipped nuclear. Emergency presser. Crutch ditched for drama. Harlan's manifesto. Hallucinations from untreated PTSD. I forgive him. He needs help. Forgiveness? From a man who'd greenlit my docs? The polls teetered. 55% empathize with Harlan. 45% fear his fury. Gray deepened, his mercy play humanized him. My rawness raw-dogged vulnerability. Twist clawed. During stream. A buried file surfaced, my neural net logs. Showing not just overrides, but my tweaks post-fix request. Embellishments? No, safeguards I'd added. But logs spun as sabotage seeds. Victor's plant? Or my subconscious revenge? Coated in grief's fog? Doubt wormed. Had I betrayed myself first? Building bombs in my own basement? Ellie called post-stream. Saw you on TV?
Daddy.
You cried. Sob escaped. For you?
Kiddo.
Always. Lena cut in. Feds at door, move her again.